It worked. All right. Okay, now just work.
Work? Work?
You can talk if you want to. It's sound too.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. It's what I'm going to do. See, is then I'm going to put it in, go in my house.
10 years from now, you can say, Lowden, you know you have that beautiful Jaguar. Whatever happened to that thing? You know?
Her keel was laid in England in August of 1903, and she was actually launched in 1904, which makes her 3 years younger than the Balclutha, incidentally, which is a national monument. 4x4 doubled oak frames every 20 inches, and the extreme depth and the flush deck and the thickness of the hull. She was certainly designed after boats that took very heavy weather out in the English Channel. And her, as I understand it, her main boom was 47 feet long, which means it overhung the stern by some 11 feet. And her gaff boom was 30-some feet long. And forward of the mast was the crew's quarters, including a small galley to the starboard side forward. And then everything from the mast back to the master cabin was main salon. And then, of course, she had the after cabin, which was a lot roomier because she had no engine. And the deck was put on in Panama. That was pine, as I was told. It was pine, and it was not fastened down. It was just edge nailed. So anyway, they wrapped the mast with fiberglass tape, I guess 4 or 6 inch strips of fiberglass, which they put the resin on. You know, went up in a bosun's chair and painted the mast with resin, and then wrapped this tape around it and painted that with resin, and just proceeded to wrap all the way down to the bottom of the mast. And so when we bought the boat, the mast was held together literally with fiberglass tape. Then she went through, she was in Hawaii for some time. She eventually was sold to some people who brought her to the States. That was basically the first time in the States, and mainland States anyway. And she was in Santa Cruz for some time. Then she was eventually sailed up to San Francisco. She went through, I don't know, 10 or 12 owners in just a very few years there. She was eventually sold to a person who drove her into the mud in Sausalito and was living aboard the boat, and she was just going to sit there and rot. We actually got her rail underwater, completely underwater, first time that had ever happened. And always, obviously, you get her rail down to where the top of the rail would just touch the water surface, and the wind would all fall out of the sails, and she'd straighten up. And seemed that she was designed to not put her rail underwater, but in any case, we did it, and about minutes later, the mast snapped. That she had gone on the rocks at one point in Santa Cruz, obviously after they had it, and that she had pounded on the rocks there for several hours before they were able to get her off. And when they got her off and hauled her, there were some scratches in the keel and some scratches in the hull, and no other damage, and absolutely no structural damage to the boat whatsoever from pounding on the rocks. Which seems to me like it says something about the structural integrity of the boat, with her 1.5 to 2 inch teak planks and 4x4 black oak frames doubled, and of course the copper rivets, which are obviously all original. The wood has been soaked in salt water for so long that it's essentially pickled.
Those aren't white walls.
Huh?
They don't look like white walls.
Yeah, they've always been white walls.